Halloween fast approaches, so I figured it was time for me to look up a good paranormal tale, and I think I found one. This story tells of one very haunted jailhouse, a story of murder, suffering, and ghostly goings-on. Let's take a look at the tale of Savannah's old Chatham County Jailhouse, the home to a spirit thought to be one of the evilest ghosts in Georgia, USA. Welcome to IF, videos on mystery and history. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to never miss a video again. Savannah, Georgia is ill-famed for being one of the foremost haunted cities found within the entire country of the USA. With a large number of haunted locations, Bonaventure Cemetery, the old Candelier Hospital, and the Moon River Brewing Company. There is one haunted spot found in Savannah that outspooks all of these places, the Chatham County Jail. This haunted jail is a place for only the bravest of ghost hunters. With a story of true terror attached, it is haunted by some of the most truly terrifying specters. The Chatham County Sheriff's Department is the oldest established law enforcement agency found in the country, being established itself in 1737. In the 70s, they moved from their original location to a new building, leaving the old headquarters to serve as the Chatham County Jail. This location was home to almost 300 inmates, the old cramped conditions adding to the problems these prisoners faced in their incarcerated existence. For a decade, the jail housed murderers and petty criminals, until 1989 when the jail was closed, the inmates being transferred to a new, more modern jail. The building didn't go to waste, it was repurposed as a records hall, and this is when the first stories of strange occurrences began to surface. People who worked and visited the building began to report odd phenomena, such as disembodied voices, phantom footsteps, and the overwhelming feeling of being perpetually watched. Some witnesses to this paranormal activity reported being touched, pushed, and in some cases even thrown up against walls. What invisible force could be carrying out such violence? Paranormal researchers stepped in and started to investigate the ghostly claims of those that had experienced these ghostly attacks and interactions with spirits. Researchers have, over the years, collected much evidence of the paranormal. They have recorded thermal video of supernatural figures, EVP, and even captured the riotous acts of a poltergeist. One such violent poltergeist incident saw a huge metal plate flung across the room, smashing into a wall opposite, this occurring in a room full of terrified witnesses. Chatham County Jail has become infamous for this type of activity, with those that have researched the jail and inmates concluding that this violent spectre is that of a former inmate called Carl Issacs. Who was Carl Issacs, you may ask? Issacs was an escaped prisoner who, in 1973, broke free from jail and drove to Florida with his two brothers. This trip was ill-fated. The car these men were traveling ran out of fuel. With no money, the group decided that it was best to steal what they needed and continue their journey toward freedom. They pulled into a gas station in the backwoods of Georgia, but to the men's frustration, they found the pumps were dry. In desperation, the group spotted a mobile home, and they decided that they could rob whoever was inside, getting money to stop for gas somewhere else. Inside the mobile home were the Alday family, oblivious to what was about to happen. The robbery was a disaster. Issacs commanded the Alday family at gunpoint to give up their belongings. Then he and his two partners shot and killed all 5 men of the family. They then turned their attention to the woman, raping and sometime later killing Mary Alday and dumping her body in the nearby woods. Carl Issacs was captured still in possession of the murder weapons a few days later in West Virginia. This heinous crime went down in the annals of history as one of the foremost grotesque murders in Georgia's history. Carl Issacs now faced the death penalty. He spent years in Chatham County Jail fighting his execution. All his appeals to the US Supreme Court were denied. He was put to death on May 6, 2003 by lethal injection. Issacs also holds the record for Georgia's longest serving death row inmate. After all those years waiting to die, upon his death, the prison officers may have seen his body leave the jail, but his spirit remained. The former cell of Issacs is reported to be the most paranormally active location in the jail. This area often leaving even seasoned paranormal investigators shaking in their boots. Those ghost hunters brave enough to have investigated the cell say Issacs' spirit makes itself known with waves of overwhelming dread. The witnesses to the paranormal jailhouse goings on say that it is some of the most oppressive energy they have ever encountered. And when you take into account the acts of evil Issacs committed during his life, he probably didn't change much in death. If you fancy a closer look at this story, TV's ghost hunters Nick Groff and Katrina Wildman spent 3 days locked in this jailhouse of horrors in the show Paranormal Lockdown, Season 2 finale. Would you also like to spend time at the jailhouse? Would you be brave enough to spend your Halloween in the cell with Carl Issacs? What haunted locations have you visited and what did you experience? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy what we do here on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And remember, you can find us across social media by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.